filled with hidden fees and expenses, or in a bank, principal protected, but with the returns lower than your grandpa used to earn. Now there's a third option, the peace of mind alternative. Accounts that protect your principal like a bank, but with earnings tied to an index tracking the market. The best of both worlds. Here's how it works. When the market rises, your account values are credited with all or a portion of the index gain. Gains that can be locked in as your new protected principal. But when the index drops, your account stays exactly the same. No fees, no losses. And these plans can generate an income stream for the rest of your life, even if you ran out of money. It's a great option for old 401ks and IRAs. Call me now, Robert Goldsmith, 844-435-SAFE. 844-435-7233. Or visit us on the web at financial411.net.
Plans backed by A-rated insurance carriers and are not a direct investment in the market. Withdrawals prior to age 59 and a half or greater than 10% annually may incur a penalty. Ask for details. Not available in all states.
This is the TAN Talk Radio Network.
People really don't know what their expenses will be because they don't know how long that they're going to live.
Obviously, the older you are, the more secure your income you are.
It's going to more safe things that they know. If they know they're going to need that money to supplement their retirement, well, then you can't play that risk.
Welcome to From Diapers to It Depends with Robert Goldsmith. Robert has been an expert in the financial services arena for over 30 years, and now he wants to teach you a few tricks of the trade. And now, From Diapers to It Depends with Robert Goldsmith.
Good morning, USA. It's Robert Goldsmith with my lovely wife,
Deanna.
And we are back here at WTAN Talk Radio, and we are excited to be here today. I just wanted to let you all know that if you've got a question, comment, or ever thought about anything financial, this is the place you can get your answers. First of all, you can check out our website at financial411.net. And certainly you can call us toll-free 844-435-7233 or 844-435-SAFE, S-A-F-E. And we are back on the air, and we're talking about your money, your finances, your future. You know, interesting thing is so many people really don't pay attention to the things that are important about their financial world. And what I mean by that is everyone thinks you need a lot of money to be able to invest money. That's number one. Number two is a lot of people think that in order to set themselves up financially or work with a financial advisor, that they need to have a lot of money. Truth is, you got to start someplace. And if you want to get started in the financial world, the key is to get started. And you could start with as little as $25, $50 a month. Do you know that sometimes people can even get started in their financial planning by simply rearranging their tax situation? What I mean by that is if you're getting a refund from the IRS, what you're actually doing is you're loaning the money to the government in advance and then saying, pay us back on April 15th of the next year when I file my return and I tell you how much you owe me at that point. Well, the thing is you don't have to do that. You could actually go into your employer, change your W-4 form, and when you change your W-4 form, they can actually add money into your paycheck that you can then use to start financial planning. Because if you don't do that, then ultimately what you're doing is you're actually planning for the government to take more money from you. And we all know the government takes way too much of our money. So let's talk about how you can get started in the financial world with as little as $25 to $50 a month. And I'm going to start by asking you a question that maybe you don't know the answer to, but you should. And that is, what do you use baking soda for? Now think about that from this perspective. What do you use baking soda for? Now, historically, if you just took the phrase of what it says on the box, baking soda, that would mean that the product was designed specifically to help you with your baking, right? And most women probably know that. Men, I'm sure there are some men out there that know that as well. Me, you're never going to find me in the kitchen, so the odds are pretty good. If I'm not eating, I'm not in the kitchen.
I was going to say, we'll find you in the kitchen eating, honey.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only place you're going to find me. And the thing that's interesting about that is that baking soda can be used for so much. Like, for example, if you got your cell phone wet, you could actually dump it into a bowl of rice or some baking soda, right? To some extent. You can actually use baking soda to clean a car. You can use baking soda to clean your teeth. You can use baking soda as a mouthwash. You can do so much with baking soda that people aren't aware of it. Well, the truth is, you can get started in your financial plan with $25 a month by using a product you probably don't want to hear about, that you say, oh my God, it sounds so terrible. Truth is, it's life insurance. And you're going, what are you talking about, Robert? You can't possibly use life insurance as a means to start a financial plan. That just pays somebody else when you die. And that's what most people would think. And the truth is, that was its original intent. Its original intent was, if something happens to you, there's this pool of money that now would help your family survive and move forward without any frustration and, more importantly, without any monetary challenges, right? So you got to have the money in order to make that happen. Truth is, people make the mistake. They think life insurance is just for people dying, but it's not. Like I said, just like baking soda can be used for so many different resources, guess what? Life insurance can also be used for multiple resources, right? So, for example, I'm going to give you a list and then we'll take some questions, talk a little bit about what's happening in September.
Well, absolutely. What is September, Robert?
Deanna is getting on me right away. September is what's known as
Life Insurance Awareness Month.
And that means that we are here to tell you about
life insurance and what it can do for your family.
Yeah. See, most people don't realize that life insurance is a tool that can be used. Let me ask you a question. If I told you that you could take $20 a month, buy a life insurance policy, pay for it for 20 years so that if something happened to you while your kids were young, it provided a substantial death benefit to your family to take care of them. But then at the end of the 20 years, you didn't need it. You could actually, get a load of this, sell that plan. And let me repeat that. You could sell that $20 a month term plan and maybe get as much as $50,000. Just like my client did. So understanding the rules of engagement are important and understanding what it can do. So a lot of people talk about this $9.99 plan they see on TV. What is that about, this $9.95 or $9.99?
It's about getting health insurance, basically, if you can't get an insurable like
life
that.
Life insurance, you said. Health.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's about getting life insurance for $9.99. Is that a good deal? Well, give me the parameters on that.
Well, because all they're focusing on is price, price, and price if you actually see the commercial. And you don't see, in the little disclosure below that they say it's $1,000 worth of coverage, but doing more research, it's not quite $1,000 per $9.99.
So that would mean, let's just use the $1,000 number. So this $9.99 plan or $9.95 plan, if you were to pay $10 a month, which is what it is rounded up, for $1,000 worth of coverage, rounded up. If I wanted $10,000 worth of coverage, I'm now going to pay $100 a month for $10,000 worth of coverage. What if somebody wanted $100,000 worth of coverage? They're now paying $1,000 a month for life insurance coverage? That would be crazy, right? And you probably shouldn't do that. It's not cost effective. That's what's known as final expense insurance. And final expense might be good if you're unhealthy, but if you're healthy, it is a terrible deal.
Absolutely.
So let's now talk about what you can actually do. And why are people talking about this month as Life Insurance Awareness Month? What's the numbers? Do we have anything on that as far as the number of people?
Well, yeah, they were showing that over half of America doesn't have life insurance coverage, or they're saying it was like 62% of America said they know they have life insurance, but they needed more. This is what I don't understand. People know they need more coverage, or there's a gap in their coverage. They talk about it, but they don't do anything about it. Because that number has not changed in the last 10 years, the percentage of people that know they need life insurance or need more.
So
it's actually gone down, to tell you the truth.
So think about it from this perspective. You know you need something, but because you think it's only going to be viable for you if you were to pass away, they're choosing not to get it. That means they don't value their family. Because who is life insurance really for?
It's for the surviving spouse and family.
Right. So life insurance is for your spouse and your kids. So if you love your kids.
Well, that was the old insurance. That was only for the spouse and family.
Yeah. So but I'm going to go back and say that if we love our kids, right, that we should consider having insurance. If we love our wife and we want to make sure that if we are the breadwinner and something happens to us, they're going to be able to survive because we bring home an income, and that income isn't replaceable immediately if I was to not have any kind of protection, nothing to help my family if I was to pass away. So what we're going to talk about today then is what we consider to be the changing role of life insurance. Because as I said before, just like baking soda, life insurance has many aspects to it that can be so advantageous to you. And by the way, it can take care of you when you're alive. Think about it from this perspective. It can take care of you when you're alive. But no, don't worry about it. You just ignore it and you just keep going on and say, oh, forget about it. I don't want it. Well, so like I said earlier, I had a number of clients. Let me go through some of the clients that have actually been able to take their life insurance policy and turn it into a profit. What if I told you you could take almost nothing? So remember this, I said at the beginning of our program, you have nothing in your bankroll in your bank account to afford life insurance. But instead, you realize you're getting a tax refund. So then you go to your employer, your HR department, and you change your claiming structure on your W-4 form. So instead of claiming, say, married in 1 or married in 2, you claim married in 5 or married in 6, right? Because you were normally getting a tax refund. And remember, a tax refund from the IRS is essentially saying, I gave you too much money, use it any way you want, pay it back to me when I file my return. And by the way, don't pay me any interest because I'm a good guy. I don't need to really worry about that. Biggest mistake you're making. You could take that money, put it to work for you. And if you put it to work for you, now you can afford a $25 or $30 a month premium for your life insurance, right? Now, after 20 years of paying for it, you decided that you did not need it any longer. Your kids were now 30 years old. Your kids were taking care of themselves. Your husband's okay. You've accumulated some assets. Now, there are still reasons you might want to keep that life insurance, and we can talk about that as well. But if you decided you no longer needed it, or maybe your health deteriorated and you weren't in a position where you could probably get something in exchange for that insurance predicated on your age, your health, what the value is. And I've had clients that have actually sold it, and let me give you some of the numbers they've sold it for. They've actually cashed it in. The lowest one we got was $50,000 because she had a life expectancy of 15 to 20 years. Had another one that got 110, another one that got 112 just recently. So they were able to get cash from their life insurance policy. And then here's the best part. One of them actually took the money, put it into an annuity. So now they've got a growing fund. And based on projections from past performances, that annuity would equal as much as they would have had in life insurance. And instead, they get to use it for their retirement. So imagine taking a $20 a month payment or a $25 or $50 a month payment and turning that into something you can use for your retirement in the future. So misnomer, misunderstanding, not understanding what I like to refer to in my book as the rules of engagement can certainly have an impact on what's happening in your financial world. So Life Insurance Awareness Month, what does that mean? That means that we are here today to share with you some of the benefits of life insurance and to get you to be aware of some of the aspects of the game. Like, what can you do that can make a difference in your life, right? What can you actually do? And the answer is simply get with an advisor. So again, we're Robert and Deanna Goldsmith on financial411.net. We are your professional advisors. We've been at this game now. I've been at it for a few decades. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to go into...
You don't want to tell them how old you are, huh?
I never like to tell people my real age. I don't want them to think, I'm 49 years old. So, that's part of the process. And then number 2 is that we actually have helped. I've got over 3,000 clients that I've worked with personally, not to mention that as a mentor and coach, I've actually assisted another 1,800 plus financial advisors. So directly and indirectly, I can tell you we have probably helped 5,000 to 10,000 people. And that's a pretty good number, but it's nowhere near the population that really needs this information. Nobody's out there telling them the facts. We get a lot of people that go take the test, but they fail because they don't get the education necessary to assist them in becoming a true professional and understanding, as I said earlier, the rules of engagement. So let's then point out that if you wanted to get the rules of engagement, we can do that for you at financial411.net. You can also call us toll free at 844-435-7233. And I'm going to turn it over to Deanna. Tell us a little bit about the different types of insurance that you have here that can probably assist people with making some of their decisions on what kind of insurance they need. Because here's the thing. People talk about insurance. They go, oh, do I get money back? Well, I just said you could do it with a term plan if you do it right and you have the right plan. By the way, not all term is alike, so definitely give that some consideration. Number 2 is you also need to know what the benefits are. Did you know that term insurance comes with features and benefits? Some of the features and benefits can include the ability to access the death benefit. Let me say that again. The ability to access the death benefit in the event you have a heart attack, stroke, cancer, organ transplant, Alzheimer's, any of those, what I call terrible diseases. If you get through them, and you don't have to die, by the way, you can actually use some of that money to help pay for your medical bills, your medical expenses. So it's definitely prudent for you to get with somebody that can assist you. And we know the answers on that, right? It's the people got questions, we got answers. So now the other thing is there's what's called cash value insurance. What does that mean? That means that you're going to pay a little bit more than the cost of your insurance policy in exchange for establishing a savings account attached to your insurance policy. A savings account attached to your insurance policy means that I've got this death benefit and I've got this savings account that is earning money tax deferred and growing tax free. And when that happens, you actually do it under the umbrella of life insurance. And under the umbrella of life insurance, guess what? That umbrella isn't shielding you from rain. It's shielding you from the IRS. Isn't that nice? Perfect. Okay, super. So I just want to tell you a little bit about that. And we are excited to be here to tell you today. We have a caller coming in. You want to take that call?
Welcome, Pam. And do you have a question for us this morning?
Yes, I do. I have a policy that I've had for my entire life. Like my parents gave it to me. So, I don't need it any longer. My kids are grown. My spouse has enough insurance. So how do I look at whether it would be advisable for me to turn this in and get the cash value out of it versus what it is for life insurance?
Great question, Pam, and thank you for joining us this morning. So let me tell you two things you're going to do first. Number one is you want to find out what is the cash value. If you're saying that your parents bought this for you predicated on your age and how long it's been around, it's very conceivable that the cash value is worth equal to or the face amount of your policy right now. So let's just take a round number and say that, let's suppose your parents were paying $20 a month and it was a $10,000 policy and you have almost $8,000 or $9,000 of cash value. Well, what's interesting to know is that these cash value policies do not pay your family both the cash value and the death benefit if you were to pass away. It's only going to pay the death benefit. So now imagine that you've got $9,000 of value on a $10,000 policy. You've paid this $20 premium in forever for the life insurance to provide your family with their money, but instead they're just paying you back your money. So you probably would be better off, once you know those numbers, to sit back and say, wait a minute, let me take that $9,000 out right now, and then I can move that into something that can work for me. And if you were to pass away, that money is still sitting in that savings account, that annuity, that investment vehicle that you chose to use instead of the insurance at that point in time. And I'm going to tell you that if you purchased that plan more than 10 or 15 years ago, the odds are pretty good. It's also not including the living benefits. So for example, one of the things we were talking about in our program this morning is that when you buy an insurance policy today, you can get living benefits attached to it. Now, living benefits say that if I had a $100,000 policy and I had cancer, heart attack, stroke, organ transplant, I can then access some of that $100,000. That is their money, not yours. And I can use that to pay my medical expenses or take a vacation. That's my prerogative. The money comes to me. It's my opportunity. And what I don't use can still be available to my family when I pass away. That's huge difference between where we bought many years ago and where we are today. So in your case, the first thing is find out what is the death benefit that's on that policy. Number two, what's my cash value? Number three, am I still paying for that, or is anybody still paying for that? And then decide whether it becomes an asset or just something you're sitting on the sideline that's going to pay somebody else when you die. And that's kind of a huge thing. So have you taken a look at the policy lately to see where it's at?
Yes. So the death benefit is $25,000. My cash value is $7,687, and it's a $100 policy premium every year.
Okay, so you're only paying $100 per year. So
Correct.
Let's look at this and say, okay, so you got a $25,000 policy. You've got $7,000 of cash value, which means the death benefit on the insurance company is approximately 18 grand, right?
Right.
Okay, so that makes that particular policy 100. Did they buy that when you were like 2 or 1? Or,
yeah.
So they bought it when you were a baby. Is that one of those old Gerber life policies?
Lincoln National Life.
Oh, interesting. Lincoln National has always been a pretty credible company. What I would first do is say this. Okay. Do I have other insurance if something were to happen to you? That's number one.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's decision number one. Number two is, do I need that $7,000 then? Because that becomes important, because here's what you're probably going to find out. You're not going to get both the insurance and the cash value. Okay. In that circumstance. Now, if you were to take it out, we have to figure out, here's the most important thing, I guess, although it's not going to be huge because it's only $7,000. And that is, if I was to borrow the funds, which would be an option for you to do, you could borrow the funds and then say, I'll just keep what's left over in the insurance and pay the $100 a month and let that fly. But you still got the money that you're using and you can use it for anything that you need, right? And you're still going to have, by the way, that same $18,000 death benefit, right? Because you just took back what's yours, and that's all they're really providing you right now. Okay.
So if I were to take the cash out, is it taxable?
The answer is, if you take it out with the policy still in force for even the $18,000 that's remaining, it is not taxable. Okay. If, however, I cancel the policy, the only tax that I would have is if that value exceeded the premiums paid. So let's say, for example, if your premiums were $100 a year and you've had this for, I'm just going to say 50 years. Okay. That means you paid $5,000 into it. Correct? $100 a year, 50 years. Yeah. No. So then what would happen is the only taxable amount would be at your tax bracket for the remaining $2,500 or so that's still in the policy. If you've had the policy for 60 years, then you're only at $1,000 taxable dollars. Does that make sense? Yeah. So you have to then look at it and say, is it worth keeping if I have other insurance policies, and then say, okay, what is my cost per thousand? How much am I really paying? And I'm going to kind of break this down a little bit differently. Let's suppose you took that $7,000 out and you put it in a bank and you could get a 3% return, right? So that's $210 that your family would never see if you were to die, right? Because remember, they're not giving you back the cash value. They're not giving you back the interest on the cash value. They're just giving you the death benefit. So you're paying $200 in lost interest. That's what you'll never see. And then you're still paying the $100. You're actually now paying $300. So what people don't realize is that your cost of insurance has actually tripled since the day it was purchased. And the death benefit went from the original $25,000 of the insurance company's money to now only $18,000 of the insurance company's money, because that $7,000 is still yours and your family's money.
Right.
So imagine saying, hey, is it a good deal if my premiums tripled? I bet you'd be upset if you went to your auto insurance. Hey, good news, my insurance tripled. You're probably not going to be thrilled about that.
Yeah.
So definitely something to think about when it comes to what should I do with that policy. And certainly you can, bring that by to us or give us a call and say, let us go over it. We can go over the details, see what's available to you, predicated on your circumstances, what your financial situation is, and decide, is that extra $300 a month worth the $18,000 of protection? I don't know. And then remember, that $7,000 is your money. So you're not only paying the money in premium, you're also giving up your $7,000 that's currently in it. So I don't know if that's necessarily the best deal for you.
Well, thank you so much. This has been some great information. I really appreciate it. You've opened my eyes to several different things that I can do. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate the call and appreciate you being out there. And we are on From Diapers to It Depends with Robert and
Deanna.
And we will be back right after this commercial word from, me. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is the TAN Talk Radio Network.
I'm Robert Goldsmith, 30-year financial professional. Everyone knows there are a few places to accumulate funds for your retirement. At-risk options, exposing your life savings to the volatility of a casino and often filled with hidden fees and expenses. Or in a bank, principal protected, but with the returns lower than your grandpa used to earn. Now there's a third option, the peace of mind alternative. Accounts that protect your principal like a bank, but with earnings tied to an index tracking the market. The best of both worlds. Here's how it works. When the market rises, your account values are credited with all or a portion of the index gain. Gains that can be locked in as your new protected principal. But when the index drops, your account stays exactly the same. No fees, no losses. And these plans can generate an income stream for the rest of your life, even if you ran out of money. It's a great option for old 401ks and IRAs. Call me now, Robert Goldsmith, 844-435-SAFE. 844-435-7233. Or visit us on the web at financial411.net.
Plans backed by A-rated insurance carriers and are not a direct investment in the market. Withdrawals prior to age 59 and a half or greater than 10% annually may incur a penalty. Ask for details. Not available in all states.
Hi, I'm Robert Goldsmith, host of the unscripted talk radio program From Diapers to It Depends, where almost anything goes. Every Wednesday morning from 9 to 10 a.m., I'll be bringing you tips and tricks on how to get the most from your hard-earned money. With money comes questions, and I've got the answers. Do you realize that almost everything you do can impact your financial lifestyle? From how you pay for your dinner to how you finance your home, everything is important. Tune in each and every Wednesday from 9 to 10 a.m. and let's make your money work hard for you on the TAN Talk Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Robert Goldsmith, 30-year financial professional, and I have a question for you. When was the last time you reviewed your life insurance policy? Whether you purchased your plan more than 3 years ago or recently from an unprepared agent, chances are your plan may be obsolete. The fact is, most of the plans offered lack all of the features and benefits that you're entitled to. While most policies only pay someone else when you die, our new plans actually pay to keep you alive. Plans that may offer you access to cash for medical needs or may even help supplement your retirement. Now, here's another question. If what I just said is true, then which one of those two plans would you prefer? The old one that only pays someone else when you die, or the new one that pays for you to live, particularly if the costs are about the same? Find out more by contacting me at 1-844-435-SAFE, S-A-F-E, or 844-435-7233. Or visit us on the web at financial411.net.
This is a life insurance benefit that offers you the option to accelerate some or all of your death benefit in the event you meet the criteria for a qualifying event described in the policy. Not available in all states.
This is the TAN Talk Radio Network.
Back, and thank you for sticking with us here on From Diapers to It Depends on the WTAN Talk Radio Network, live at 1340 a.m. And we are here to take your questions, your answers. Also, you can find us if you don't get AM 106.1 FM. That's 106.1 FM. And if you're listening across the country, go to tantalknetwork.com, and we can be heard live all across the world for all intents and purposes. So we appreciate you being out there. We are actually helping you explore what is known as Life Insurance Awareness Month, where we are taking your questions, your answers on how to make your money work for you, but more importantly, how to use life insurance as a vehicle rather than as a expense. Most people simply don't get the fact that there are expenses involved. And I guess we had a dog step by. Is that what happened? Yeah. So anyway, so I wanted to share with you some interesting input. And that is what we, again, are referring to as the changing role of life insurance. So let me ask you this question. If I told you that you wanted to get anywhere from 20 to 30% of additional income from your 401k, your IRA, your pension plan, your Roth IRA, that having life insurance is a critical component to making that happen. Like if you don't have your life insurance, you could actually pay more or cost you more from your 401k. So imagine this. You got a 401k, you have a pension plan at work, right? Now your pension plan says that when I retire from work, I can get an income, and that income could be, let's just use a round number of $4,000 a month. But in order for me to get the $4,000 a month, I must take a what's called a life-only distribution. Now, that's a life-only distribution. What does that mean? Life-only distribution says that I'll get that $4,000 a month for the rest of my life as long as I'm alive. But if I was to pass away, it would leave nothing. And let me repeat, it would leave nothing to my heirs or my wife, right? So the truth is, who controls that decision? Who makes that decision? The answer is, it's not you, and it's not the government, and it's not your employer. It is your spouse. And if your spouse says, wait a minute, if you were to pass away, I would get zero from your pension. The odds are pretty good they're not signing that. They're going to want you to take the pay cut. And that pay cut could be 500, 5,000. Who knows what the numbers are? It could be a substantial amount per year. And if you're losing that money, what are you getting in exchange? And the answer is, it's providing a death benefit, a taxable benefit, a taxable monthly income to your spouse, right? So whenever you leave money on the table in exchange for providing someone else something when you die, that is what is known as life insurance. So imagine if instead of taking the pay cut, you actually took a life insurance policy out that could leave the same money to your heirs 100% tax-free. Let me repeat that. 100% income tax-free. That would be a more prudent decision for someone to do than just taking the pay cut. What's the key to that? Key to that is I have to be, at my age, eligible and qualified to actually obtain that insurance policy. Unless, as a child or as an adolescent or as I'm going to call myself middle-aged person.
A mature adult.
A mature adult. I could take that percentage and I could buy an insurance policy that has the ability for me to keep it when I'm older. So I can convert that plan to a permanent plan, leave my family 100% tax-free death benefit instead of a taxable death benefit, and never accept the pay cut. So the point is that understanding the rules of engagement are so prudent. And that's why I said that you can't just make decisions arbitrarily. A lot of people make their financial decisions without ever speaking to a knowledgeable professional about the rules of engagement.
You know what's amazing, Robert, is over the last, I would say, few months, how many calls we've got from children of the mature adults that have all the health issues, that are getting put in nursing home. And, they're like, unfortunately, one foot in the grave, and they're asking us, can I get them insured? It's like they're waiting until the car accident happens and say, oh, can I get insurance now to cover this? Mm-hmm. And they don't realize exactly what you just said. You have to get your coverage while you're young and healthy.
That's a great analogy, is that let me ask the insurance company, I just had a car accident. Now, can you insure me? I didn't pay you any premiums yet, but I had the car accident. I'm going to give you $100. Can you take care of my $50,000 bill?
But it's amazing how many people think that way. Oh, well, now you're sick. Now we need the insurance. So let's see if we can get it. And it amazes me that they get upset at us because they can't get the coverage because of all their health issues.
And that's not just true in life insurance. That comes with the health insurance as well.
Oh, absolutely.
I've always believed that when people are trying to buy health insurance, it's usually because they have what I'm going to say, and use this cautiously, larceny in mind. They want to rob from the insurance companies with the precursor of knowing that they already need the coverage, but they never paid for it. They never purchased it. So as a result, they're trying to do it backwards and saying, I didn't want to pay the premium, so I would do it.
But, another thing that amazes me is, with the stats that over 62% of America don't have coverage or enough coverage, but they have no problem getting coverage for their cars or their homes. It's like, are you telling me you value your car and home more than you value your life or your spouse's life?
And you're 100%, accurate on that. But here's the other thing people don't realize is that they're actually buying the auto insurance and they can't think of being without health insurance because they think of it as mandatory. Like you can't, like, for example, if you borrow money on your house, your mortgage company says you must have homeowners insurance.
Absolutely.
When you buy a car, the bank is not letting you off the lot unless they verify that you have
insurance. It's the same way with getting a driver's license now. You have to prove you have insurance on your car before you can even get a driver's license.
Exactly. So people are making the misconception that if I use life insurance, that I'm doing it arbitrarily. And while it isn't legally mandatory, What I can tell you is that life insurance is mandatory if you have a 401k or an IRA or Social Security or a pension plan, because you don't realize the cost of that insurance is built into your distribution when you get it back, right? So you put money in pensions and 401ks and IRAs with the intent of getting an income in the future. What you don't realize is that if you do not plan properly with an insurance policy, you're actually paying more and you're not getting any benefit for it. The cost is built in. You know what I find amazing is that as we do this show, and we're on Facebook Live and we get to simulcast, and there are people that tune in and then hear that we're talking about insurance and they tune right out. If I was talking about a political event today, they might tune in for a little bit because there's so many different people voicing
if you're
their opinions.
talking about a cat or a dog or something like
or
that.
What I ate for dinner or what I ate for lunch. People, you get to tune in and talk and say, oh my God, that sounds so good. I want to get involved. But when it comes to their financial world, they think that they don't have enough money, or they don't prepare, or they think they know it all already.
Yes.
Biggest mistake people can make is thinking that they actually know how life insurance works.
Well, the stats came out for the 2023, the LIMRA, regarding Americans, if something happens to the breadwinner of their family, that they're saying that only 1 in 4, basically 24% of Americans can live past 6 months.
Without any money.
Yeah, that's as far as they can go, 6 months, and then they run out of money.
And that's because they didn't find the job. There's a lot of jobs out there today, but I will tell you that we have seen more and more people get laid off, lose their job, and then have a challenge trying to find a replacement job or any other source of income because they haven't got any savings and they haven't got any money. They're talking about today, and these are some of the things that I guess I've heard in the political arena, is that 70% of our population is living paycheck to paycheck. 70% of our population is living paycheck to paycheck, but our government continues to send our money to different countries and spend it willy-nilly all over the place without anything or even one thought as to how they can benefit us. They always talk about benefiting us. They run on the campaign of benefiting us, but they're really not benefiting us. So who can we really count on? The answer is
yourself.
We can only count on us, right?
You have to make the good choices. Well, speaking of that, when you're saying they're living paycheck to paycheck, during COVID, the first thing everybody was cutting was their life insurance. The most important thing to help your family, especially during a pandemic like that. Oh, we're just going to cut our life insurance, which was crazy to me because of all the deaths and everything that happened. That's the one thing you think you would need. You would think, and I don't know if I can say this word. Can I say asinine? Because that is asinine. And that's because when you're talking about COVID, we know people died from COVID. We know people died from the flu, the pneumonia. It can happen from walking. Hopefully that doesn't happen to us or you or people we know. We just want you to know that if you don't have that protection, then your family is the one that pays, right? But if you didn't die and you had that accident or you had that illness and you had a heart attack or a stroke or a cancer, wouldn't it be nice to know that while you're not at work earning an income, that your life insurance is paying you? Let's say you have health insurance that's covering you, right? Let's say you're having health insurance that's covering you, but you don't actually understand that that life insurance can be used to pay your bills, right? It could pay your mortgage payment. It could pay your car payments. It can keep your credit up to date. And if you have bad credit, I can't tell you how much that affects your interest rates and the rest of your lifestyle. People just don't get it. They don't understand the rules of engagement when it comes to your financial world. And that's why I guess I'm so, what's the word? I think a lot of people, they don't put a priority on it, because look at a lot of people say, oh, I can't afford this or I can't afford that, especially a lot of the younger people we talk to. And then they come in and they have that $10 Starbucks drink, they have all of these tattoos, which is fine if you have your tattoos, but you're not taking priority of what you really need, or they're going out and they go to dinner, they're having 2 or 3 drinks alongside their dinner. It's like, okay, but I don't have the money, but I have the money for all of these little other necessities. And that's important. And I bring that up only because I was talking to my coach at the gym.
and he has a bunch of tattoos. And I asked him how much he had spent on his tattoos, and nothing against tattoos, as Deanna mentioned a minute ago, but he had spent $30,000 on his tattoos. $30,000 on tattoos. Now, I want you to envision, because this happened to me. I was literally driving into California one day, and Deanna and I stopped in a McDonald's, and there was a gentleman wearing what they call the wife beater t-shirts, right? And it's warm in California in that area. And he had tattoos up and down his sleeves. The crazy thing is he had virtually no teeth. So he chose to spend the dollars on the tattoos rather than on his teeth, which, just doesn't make any sense. Now, obviously, I don't know the circumstances. I'm just, giving you throwing out a circumstance that I happen to run into. But people don't put a priority on the things that are important. What's important is you put a priority on how to best spend your money. So Deanna and I, we don't spend a lot of money drinking, social drinking, or drinking at dinners or lunches. And water is a healthier drink, by the way. But when you save that $3.50 per Coke or $4 for a soda, and
try $5 or $6 now, Robert.
You're probably closer to right. But let's just say it's $4. So $4 times 2 is $8 tax and tip. It's at least $10. And if you do that twice or 3 or 4 times a week, that's $50 a month.
Oh, absolutely. Right. And another thing with the life insurance is, especially with the younger generation, do you know what one of the number one reason is why they don't get it?
They don't understand life insurance, you mean?
Nope. They don't think they can afford it. They think it costs a lot more than what it really costs.
So my son has a policy. He pays $12 a month.
Yeah.
It's for $250,000.
Yep, they don't realize that it's not as expensive as what they think it is.
And the $12 a month, it's actually coming from the money that he would have been sending to the IRS. Instead of getting that $12 refund, he's actually spending on something that has conversion features, has the living benefits.
Well, here's another thing, what you've always said too, by what you did to help the kids, say, take your money now instead of wait till after the end of the year. Do you realize that you guys are giving your money to the government interest-free, and they're giving it back to you at the end of the year? So you gave them all your money, and they didn't have to pay interest, basically, to borrow your money.
That's exactly what we just said. It's repeating the same thing we're trying to get across to you. And remember, we do these shows for your benefit. These aren't for our benefit. These are for your benefit, so that you get the information that you need that really nobody else is providing out there. And I know there's a ton of books you can read. When was the last time you were at Barnes & Noble?
Oh, do they still exist?
No, people buy books on Amazon. Do they really even buy books anymore?
Not on, I don't think people buy books on finances. It's like all these romantic books or these.
They spend too much time watching Hallmark or Lifetime for Women movies.
Hey, don't go there.
I understand. But my most important component of this is for people to comprehend that the way you spend your money is definitely the reason some people are poor. Like, why is somebody homeless? Now, if they lost their job, if they got hooked on drugs, I get it. But if you had an education, you could probably find a job. And we're talking about today people coming in from different countries and getting jobs and things that you can do. And when you get into a position where you're struggling financially, you certainly need to look back and say, hey, do I have a family that I can camp out with for a little bit? Can I take the initiative? What can I really do to kind of generate income? And the crazy thing is that kids today have so much more opportunity than when we were growing up, because we didn't have the advantage of the internet to not only learn and educate ourselves, but to the ability to do marketing on the internet to the entire world. So when I talk to people about what's happening in the world and what they're missing out on, not understanding the rules of engagement, and I know we kind of deviated a little bit from understanding the value of life insurance, and life insurance is definitely a key component.
Yeah, but it all goes hand in hand together.
Yeah, it does. See, that's the whole thing. I wrote the article, and we co-authored an article called Should Your Retirement Crash, which if you go to Forbes.com or just simply go into Google and type in.
You can go right onto your website under media, and the article is there.
Okay, so go to financial411.net, go to media, and then click on Should Your Retirement Crash?
Yep, it's right there.
And you'd be able to read that article and understand the rules of engagement when it comes to your financial world. Everything has to be coordinated, like your pension has to talk to your tax plan. Your tax plan has to talk to your Social Security. Your Social Security has to talk to your Medicare. Do you think people realize that if they have too much money sitting in a 401k, that they're going to end up paying double the price for their Medicare insurance when they start to take their money out?
No, most people don't know that because it's not well known out there.
The crazy thing is this, it's frustrating, is that I've, like I said, been doing this for decades.
Well, another thing, babe, that surprised people is they didn't realize that up to 85% of their Social Security is taxable.
Yeah.
They're like shocked. I mean, I'm looking on Facebook on some of these people because I do believe that Trump brought a lot of awareness to it when he talked about he's going to try to get the taxes off of Social Security. I mean, I'm seeing on Facebook saying, what do you mean my Social Security was taxable? I didn't know that. They went back and checked and like, oh my gosh, I was taxed on my Social Security. They don't even realize it.
No, the people are unfortunately not ignorant people, but ignorant of how the rules work. And
that's because there's nobody out there coaching or teaching them this.
And by the way, we are. So you can actually call in, and some of the information we provided you today, we can actually tailor to fit the needs of you personally so that you understand how your taxes, your circumstances actually work.
Yes, and we actually, we did now last night put the link on our website for them to learn more about the Life Insurance Awareness Month is on there now, and we're getting our video collection up there, which will train and help educate a lot of the consumers on Social Security, Medicare, and retirement. So those educational videos are up on the website, ready to go now.
Okay, so what Deanna's just saying to you is that go to financial401.net, and if you have something you want to talk to us about personally, I would encourage you to go to the Contact Us page, put in your information, or our phone number, which I'll repeat, 844-435-7233 or 844-435, and here's how you remember it, it's SAFE, S-A-F-E. And the reason we use the vernacular SAFE is because we don't deal with money at risk. Everything that we deal with is basically 100% foolproof, for the exception of if you wanted to get gold and silver, there's definitely some risk whenever you invest in something that directly has a market impact and changes daily, like stocks. We don't do stocks, but we can assist you with gold and silver. And what I can tell you is the price of gold and silver has historically gone up. Now, silver, fluctuates a little bit more. It's a little bit less expensive to get started, but what a great place to have kind of a hedge against inflation, because typically if the market goes up, you might see gold and silver go down a little bit, but when it's reversing, you're actually going to see it the other way. So it's kind of like the diversification strategy that says if one goes up, the other kind of washes it out. That's something that you can be looking at, and we can help you get gold and silver. In fact, we had Nathan Akers from National Gold Consultants on with us a couple of weeks ago, and he was very instrumental in kind of opening eyes to people, the fact that gold and silver is a investment that you can use without the potential for capital gains tax. So that's an important thing. That's another strategy you can use. And of course, this show doesn't provide tax advice. We are providing you insight and information on what we know and what we have done. But anytime you talk about taxes, you should always get with your financial advisor or CPA on that particular subject so that you know. If you'd like to work with us, give us a call at 844-435-7233, and we will definitely assist you with what it takes for you to become more financial savvy, and maybe even have you take our money IQ test. I think we should start using the IQ test for the general population a little bit more.
Put that up there again. Yeah. The one thing I will say, which I did even before I really started dating or getting to know Robert,
it's been almost 10 years now.
Oh yeah. Is that it wasn't so much that he was just going over finances with me. He actually sat down and educated me along with my finances, telling me, well, if you do this, this will affect this, or this is what happened. I felt like I was in finance school, which was great. And the one thing I do see is his clients that he's had for 20 plus years constantly call him on other things that do with finances, but not the retirement and all that stuff. They'll ask him, hey, Robert, here's my situation. I want to buy a car. What do you think I want to do? Another one would call and ask him, hey, if I take money out of here and invest it in a building, I think it was, and stuff, and what's really good is he's giving these guys this advice, and you know what? It's not costing you guys a dime for this. So it's like you actually have a financial coach for the rest of your life once you use his services.
Interesting is that one of the key components is that if you were to get an attorney or an accountant, often they're charging you for the paperclip, the fax machine, and or the time they spend on that phone. That's one thing that we don't charge you, is for the time on the phone. We educate you. We are probably one of the most valuable services that you can get with nothing out of your pocket. So I would encourage you to do that. People always ask me, well, how much are you going to charge me if I do this, or I have to make a change? Well, we don't do that. We try to see whether or not the changes that are going on in your life right now, the financial challenges that you may have, how we can address them, what we can do to make a difference in your life and your future. And that's what we do for you. And we do it at financial411.net. Again, 844-435-7233. We are about to wrap up on our show, and I just want you to take note so that every Wednesday we are here at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We are here at 8 a.m. Central Time. And if you're up early in the West Coast, we are 6 a.m. So if you're driving into work at 6 a.m. and you've got your cell phone out, you can get us on Facebook Live, and we'll be here to assist you. So we got in the 15 seconds. Anything you want to add?
You know what? If you want it during Life Insurance Awareness, if you want a review, if you're just getting started, if you want us to look at your old policies and what's going on, is all your financial products working in conjunction one another, give us a call and we'll be happy to work with you. And there's no cost to you to do any of this.
Exactly. Okay, I'm Robert Goldsmith, and this is
Deanna Goldsmith.
And we are from Diapers to
It Depends.
And you can find us at financial411.net. Thank you for tuning in. You have a great week. We'll see you on the flip side. Over and out.